Hi, it's Patricia Daker, and thanks, friends, for joining me. It's Thursday, which means that's my video day, and hope you're enjoying my other posts on Facebook, my website, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm hoping to connect and provide inspiration on many different platforms. So if you haven't seen those, please check them out. So today we're going to be talking about odd questions, and I seem to hear a lot of things either through my clients or through things that happen on social media, and I'll see people posting for asking for inspiration or how would they handle a situation. So the one that I saw recently was someone who was approached and asked questions about their glucose monitor, their pump, something like that. So I think it happens. I'm certainly very familiar with people's questions and comments, and I want to share with you today a couple things that you could consider in how you want to choose to respond to these questions. So first of all, I would always offer that when people come and ask you a question, they see you checking your blood sugar, assume good intent. I think a lot of times if we're feeling bad about having diabetes, or feel like we're being judged, or feel like people are looking at us through a lens of less than, or that we're broken, we get kind of defensive. And when people come at it, when people ask you a question and you're feeling defensive, your natural inclination is to push them away or to assume they're judging you. So my first tip would be try not to assume that, because most people are just curious. And curiosity is one of the greatest gifts God has given us, right? So it's a wonder. Children are very curious, right? They look at things, they want to know what's going on, they want to understand. And if you can always try to give people the grace of assuming they're curious, then it puts your response in a much easier, in an easier light. So when people ask you those questions, don't get annoyed, don't try to assume they're there to try to target you, but put yourself in the mindset of what if they're curious. And if they're curious, it's a wonderful way to make a connection and to teach them something maybe, right? So they probably don't know, they haven't seen what you have. And so my personal philosophy has always been, I tell everybody I have injected in public, I've changed my meter, I don't really hide anything. And if someone makes a comment, I always enjoy opening up the discussion to tell them what I do, what my life is like, what I have to do to manage my disease. So for me personally, it's not a big deal. And I think I need to give credit to my mom. So many, many years ago when I was diagnosed, she told me, if it's not a big deal to you, it's not going to be a big deal to other people. And I have found that to be true. So the more you're secretive about it and hiding something and you don't want people to know, and it's something you're keeping inside, you'll find that that makes people more interested. They're intrigued that there must be something here if you're hiding it, right? I saw a show one time, and one of the girls used a tagline of "You're as sick as your secrets," and I think that's very true. So, right, if we're keeping secrets and we're hiding things, it piques people's curiosity even more than just being very open about it. That has been my strategy for the last 27 years, and I think most of the Dallas Fire Department has seen me inject insulin back in the days when I worked in the ER, and certainly my colleagues in the corporate America have seen me test and pull my pump out and take care of whatever I need to. So the other thing I think that comes along with this is it's our attitude towards this. So you think about if you're walking down the street and you see something unique, you're curious, you're going to look. So if somebody has tattoos, I always look. I'm always fascinated by people who can put artwork on their skin. It's not something I think I could do, but I'm fascinated by it, right? So the fact that I can see it makes me curious about it. And it's a possibility to bridge communication versus some way to shut you out. So I think if we go back and recap, number one, don't assume that they're judging you. Don't take it personally. Use it as an opportunity to connect and to explore and to educate. And then the last thing I think is nobody wants to be different, right? We don't want to have something unique. And I'm going to hate to burst your bubble, but hang on. Every person on the entire planet is different. There are no two people, even twins are not the same. So this whole mindset of I don't want to be different than somebody else, it doesn't exist. You already are different, and you're different on purpose, and you're different in ways that are meaningful and perfect. Sometimes we have to dig a little bit under the skin to figure out what those ways are. But you are not a mistake. You are not different from other people as punishment. You are different because you are you. And I think that's probably the healthiest way to look at it. So I hope that was helpful. I always enjoy bringing you these video messages. Please leave me a comment if you found some message helpful, or if there's anything else you would like to discuss. I'd be happy to take some questions and look at some ideas for next week. So that wraps up this week's video log. Have a great week, and thanks again for joining. Bye-bye.